Hi, this is Jeff Curto, and welcome to episode number 103 of Camera Position, the podcast about the creative side of photography. This, I believe, that the free, exploring mind of the individual human is the most valuable thing in the world. It's John Steinbeck, the great author. This, I believe, that the free, exploring mind of the individual human is the most valuable thing in the world. So how important is exploration to the creative process? Well, Steinbeck obviously thought it was supremely important. The idea of exploration. Now, we've been talking a little bit in a couple of past episodes of Camera Position about the creative process and kind of breaking it down into some steps. But ultimately, for many of us photographers, the origin of our world of creativity is exploration. Going out into the world and finding subject matter that interests us, seeing something that interests our eye and draws us to it to make photographs of it, or conversely, those of us who work in a studio situation, whether we bring models or other props to the studio to assemble in some sort of synthetic fashion so that we can make photographs of things that we find interesting, juxtaposing them in such a way that they produce new ideas. Now, I don't think that any of this kind of takes away from the ideas we've been talking about creativity and the process of creativity, but that idea of exploring, the free exploring mind that Steinbeck talks about. But I think actually Steinbeck is getting at kind of two meanings of this, and that's what I wanted to explore for a second. This, I believe, that the free exploring mind of the individual human is the most valuable thing in the world. And I think on one level, Steinbeck may be talking about exploration, about looking at the world, about going out there, finding things that are out in our world and either engaging them where they are or bringing them to a common ground like a studio space for us to examine and photograph and think about. But that idea of the free exploring mind, and that whole sort of sense of free exploration, sort of what we were talking about in a previous episode of Camera Position, this way of thinking about incubating ideas, sort of working through the process of what it is that we might be interested in. Free exploration. Taking new ideas and old ideas and combining them in some way, smashing our old ideas so that we can be free to associate new ideas with our creative process. So the free exploring mind of the individual human, that free aspect is really important, freeing ourselves up, making ourselves, putting ourselves into a situation where we can think of new ideas, think of new ways to experience our world and to express ourselves about that world. So I love those ideas that I find in places like reading Steinbeck and reading quotations. In this case, reading quotations from great authors and looking at the idea of exploration and how important that idea of looking out of our own selves and seeing what it is that we see around us. So I'm going to go grab my camera and I'm going to go out and it's a beautiful afternoon where I live right as I'm recording this, and I'm going to go out and explore and see what I can see out there in the world and sort of open my mind to new experience. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next episode of Camera Position, the podcast about the creative side of photography.